Hello YouTube, this is Asian48 here, and I'm bringing you some Resistance 3 single player gameplay. Now, single player is not the most exciting thing, but I am giving my final thoughts on it since I have just finished it. This is the third level, where you have to defend against a Chimerian attack in the pub brew or something like that, whatever, but basically, you'll be watching this for the whole time. You'll see me die once or twice, but I will try to cut out and put as much good action as possible. Even though I have finished the game, just saying for next time I will be doing a superhuman playthrough, or my friends will be doing a superhuman playthrough while I'll be watching them, because we're just, they just love to fool around and they love to challenge themselves. So do look forward to that. But back to what the title says. Basically this video, the rest of it, we'll be talking about my thoughts, or at least my first impressions of how the Resistance 3 single player is, because I played the multiplayer beta. Well, I'll talk about that in another video. But for now, let's just focus on single player. Single player, was it worth it? Was the 2 years of waiting for the damn game worth it? In some ways, I'd say yes. In some ways, I'd say no. But meaning that the gameplay itself, or the game single player itself, felt very average. It was satisfying to play. It feels good to actually play it, but it didn't really blow me away in all the places. Like, there's some places that blew me away, and some places which really disappointed me. So I'll get straight to it and I'll say why it really did blow me away in some places. In some places, it really had the Resistance 1 feel. The pacing, going through the different environments, it feels like Resistance 1 again, which is very good. Well, it brings back for me good memories. It does bring back some struggles here and there, some bad memories, but in general it does bring back some good memories. And also it has this Resistance Retribution feel, because the Resistance Retribution campaign felt very solid. It made up for the Resistance 2's campaign's faults, and the Resistance 3 campaign seems to be learning from that. Like, it seems to be going away from some of the Resistance 2's failures here and there. But then again, it does draw a lot of influence from Resistance 2, because some boss battles, some moments will make you go like, hey, that's from Resistance 2, or that felt a lot like this boss battle from Resistance 2, just with different enemies, different weapons, and of course a different look. But of course, the main star of the show is the weapons here, because they're what you use to kill, and of course, they save your ass many, many times. And the grenades too, like that right there. So, from Resistance 1 to Resistance 2 to Resistance 3, there's been a huge buff in existing weapon, and of course, new weapons feel very, very badass, like this atomizer right here. It pretty much kills everything in your path, although the only thing the atomizer really does remind me of is those noobs in online. It shows how much the guns have been buffed and how much supposedly easier this game has been, because each weapon, like I said, from Resistance 1 to Resistance 2 has received a huge buff. Well, the bullseye actually got its own scope and is more accurate. The carbine is better in close quarters as it gets a bayonet. The shotgun, not really a buff, a change up, gets a concussion grenade, but it is incendiary now, so you can run around calling yourself an OP shotgunner. And of course, these two weapons are pretty badass. Like I said before, the Deadeye can, well, I don't know if anybody knows this, I'm quite sure you all do, but it has a charge up shot which encourages collaterals, especially in single player. And of course, like I said, the atomizer's badass, the mutator's pretty cool, the cryo gun's nice. Although one bad thing about the weapons is that I don't think there's any more, since I got a trophy saying up your arsenal, which means I gotta kill off every single weapon. So I do hope that that trophy is not true, as there will be more weapons in the second playthrough. Speaking of second playthrough, which I'll be playing co-op with my friends, co-op is a nice addition to single player, because I'm quite sure in Resistance 2 there are some areas where you said, oh, I wish I had my buddy, Resistance 2 campaign to be exact. They do allow that here, which is pretty nice. However, I do wish that they had the 8-player co-op again. That was pretty fun. It was somewhat necessary, somewhat a waste of Insomniac's development time, but then again, I say it was a worthy risk. I enjoyed it, I respected them for making it, and I love the game for that. Speaking of what Insomniac does best, they also do Ratchet & Clank good, and they brought a lot of good elements from Ratchet & Clank into the game, such as weapon leveling. Weapon leveling is pretty fun now, experiencing different guns, and try and level each up so you can fully use it. Although it does lead to the XP hoarding, where you basically die and try to do the scenario again just because it's so good for your gun. However, as you can see, one awesome feature which returns from Resistance 1 is the weapon wheel. Well, actually it returns to Resistance Retribution too. But the weapon wheel has always made games which are made by Insomniac feel awesome, because you have so much variety of your weapons, and of course you have so much opportunities to use them. Like you don't have to just use one weapon for or two weapons for the whole time. You can strategically use a weapon for this guy and then change it up next time you meet him again. Gives the game a good feel. However, one feel that does reoccur in the game is the Half-Life 2 feel. I do want to point one thing out, is that reading from the magazine, the first Game Informer magazine about Resistance 3, practically the first magazine to ever mention Resistance 3 and have an interview about it, they did say that Insomniac Games literally did say they wanted to go for a Half-Life 2 feel. So I expected it. I didn't really care when it happened, but it did feel good because what it did take was a zombie level, and I definitely enjoyed that zombie level from Half-Life 2. So I enjoyed it here in Resistance 3 again, even though it did remind me of Resistance 2. Over here I'm fast forwarding. I do apologize if this is weird, no, but running through a hallway, not shooting anything is not really fun. So that's why I'm fast forwarding, and the fact that I want to reduce the amount of time in making this video, because I am not using Sony Vegas to make this video. I'm trying Adobe Flash for the first time, so this is the first time I'll be using Adobe Flash. Do apologize if there's any inconvenience stuff with it. Anyways, back to the review. Now I feel like I should go into the bad stuff, since I do have some bad stuff to complain about, honestly. I'll start with the stuff that you wish you had. Like I said, this is stuff you wish for. It probably will never happen in any time soon unless they're gonna put in a Resistance 4. But I'm cool with it. Like vehicles, that was an awesome thing about Resistance 1. They don't bring it back. They bring it back on rail section, which is not as cool as vehicles, but whatever. And of course, there's a bit too much sniping in the game. Like you run around, there's invisible snipers everywhere, which I really do hate those guys. I'm not much of a sniping fan. Like my friend, he's more of a sniping fan, and so is my other friend. He loves running around and trolling. So I assume that those guys, my friends, will have a lot of fun with those snipers running around. One distracts him, when another guy snipes him off, something like that. Also, when playing through co-op, I actually did play through co-op. When I first started up, there was a glitch. Like when we literally had our first door. We had our first door. I went through it. But my friend went through it, but I couldn't go through it, and literally I would have to die. He would have to die so we can actually go through it. So hopefully nobody encountered any glitches here and there. That was my only complaint about the glitches. Of course, now I'm gonna talk about stuff that will have spoilers in it, because I am talking about the storyline. So if you don't want me to spoil anything, don't watch from this point on. The storyline itself was good. Not the greatest, because it didn't. I felt like it had more potential to it. Like how they did it was, I felt like it was better than Resistance 2 in some ways, but it felt just as infuriating as Resistance 2. First off, why it was infuriating? Freaking Dr. Malikov died. He didn't die in an epic death. Like if you follow Resistance 2, 1, 2, 3, Resistance Retribution, Dr. Malikov is basically the scientist which saves everybody. He is the reason why the humanity is still alive. He's practically the #1 leading scientist unknown the Chimera. He's created so many monsters. Like he's created Sentinels, the Cloven, I don't even know what else he created. And he just dies to a random noob. Like really, that's what happens in the story. He just dies to a freaking guy who just goes like, I hate everybody in the world, I've been in jail, I'm gonna kill everybody. That death was pathetic. Like just like in Resistance 2. They killed people off for no damn reason, only just to make you mad. But I think they went overkill with this. They could have killed off a character which you care about in Resistance 3, only was introduced in Resistance 3, but they had to kill off an important reoccurring character. I don't think that his death was fit for this game. Main point, he should have been killed by a Cloven or a Sentinel, which got all angry and messed up. But to be killed by a noob like that, it just doesn't feel right. Well, all that I'm basically saying about his death is that he could have had more potential to it. It could have been more memorable, could have been more epic. But just like that, just felt rushed, and it just didn't feel right. Another thing that I feel rushed about the game is that they didn't have the pure Chimera in them, because for Resistance you want some other factor, and like you see two factions, humans and Chimera fighting. How about a third faction, pure Chimera? Like they aren't the same as these impure noob Chimera. Like these pure Chimera have been mentioned, they've been mentioned as their creators, the badass guys, the bosses who've been hiding behind these drones. These guys are just noobs. See this guy right here? He's nothing. Imagine a pure Chimera boss, how badass he would be. That's what I wanted from the game. But did I get a pure Chimera now that I think about it? No. I was just enjoying the ride. I didn't even think, oh, what would happen if a pure Chimera came out? Well, that was because I basically played this game in less than 7 days. Usually I'll play in 7 days, savor the flavor, enjoy the game, ask a few questions, anticipate a few stuff, but I was just in it for a ride, like watching a whole movie. Except it was, it was more of an interactive movie. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out my superhuman playthrough with my friends in co-op.